Que pasa? What's happening? Yeah, that was a bad impression of Cheech and Chong. Boy, I wish I had a sombrero for this one today. It would have been cool. I didn't think about it until 5 minutes ago. Today is Friday. It is Cinco de Mayo. What better day to have Cinco de Mayo than on a Friday when everybody's getting off of work and go have some margaritas. Tonight I am going to the Los Jefes Festival. Los Jefes is a restaurant in Metairie in Fat City. They have a festival every year. This year they're having wrestling out there, and I'm going to go hang out with some of the guys. Hopefully, if it's not raining, it's supposed to storm in a few minutes and last all the way to 5, 6 o'clock, something like that. So I'm going to play it by ear whether I'm going to go out there or not. But it should be a good time. Earlier this week, I posted a picture of a kid's chest. I say kid, of a guy's chest that had my hand imprint on it. Because he asked me in the middle of the match, he didn't ask me, he said, "Hey, chop me." Okay, you're going to tell me twice. I usually don't like to throw chops too much. Unless somebody hits me first with one, and then I'm like, oh, it's on. But he asked for it. For those of you who don't know, is watching and don't know what a chop is an open hand slap to the chest, whether it's overhand or knife edge, and it stings like a son of a bitch. There's no faking chops. You can't fake a chop. It's just, you can't pull on them. You can't. You taking it. If you can't take a chop, you're in the wrong business. If you can't take a little pain, you're in the wrong business. If you can't take a lot of stuff that we take, you're in the wrong business. So got me thinking. I was in Pensacola, Florida for Ultimate Wrestling, and was wrestling a guy named Death Row. Legitimate. Scared the bejesus out of. He was one of those gimmicks like mine where when you looked at him, you wouldn't want to meet this guy in a dark place, much less a light place. But he did a prisoner gimmick, and he did it very well. About my size, big boy. So we talked over the match, and Robert Gibson actually watched our match, and had a lot of really good things to say about me. Got mad at him because I think Robert Gibson had some hands in on his training, and got mad at him because he got blown up during the match. Shh, don't talk about it. I blew somebody up. Anyway, that was about 300 at the time. But so he goes, "Let's do the chop spot." And I'm like, "What's the chop spot?" I mean, I understand what a chop spot is, but what's a chop spot? He goes, "Well, we're going to trade chops." I said, "Okay, I got no problem doing that. I'm a tough bird." He goes, I said, "Okay, so what we're going to do to finish?" He goes, "We'll see how far we can go." I said, "How many chops we're going to trade back and forth?" He goes, "Let's play it by ear." I'm like, shit, what am I getting myself into? So we get into it, we go to the spot, and I think he started out first, and hurt like a bastard. I got him, he turned around, came back at me, I got him. I think we hit each other 3 times, and then we both took a break to get the crowd's response, and it was pretty like, ouch. The crowd didn't know what to do because they were like, these two big bastards are killing each other. So I take the straps down, and I'm like, "Come on!" So he pops me one more time. I pop. I think we went 6, and on the 7th or 8th one, he turned his back on me. I was like, "Oh!" I wanted to give in so bad. It would hurt so bad, but he gave in. I was like, "Yes!" So I clocked him from behind, and we went on and finished the match. So that was probably some of the most brutal chops I've ever taken, because first of all, it was like 7 or 8 of them right back to back. And boy, my chest was purple. And it hurt. I mean, when you hit somebody in the same spot over and over again, it just gets more painful each time you hit, until it gets numb. Another one that I had, everybody said look out for Bullet Bob's chops. I had Bullet Bob's chops. His was pretty loud, pretty big. I had another one in a battle royal, this little sumbitch. Lucha Lacora, little bastard. lit me up. I think everybody in the back heard it. Because when we got in the back, we were both laughing. He lit me up. He hit me with a good one. It sounded off like the whole building heard. The people that were outside cutting grass across the street from East Park in Homer heard it over their lawnmower. I just had the choppable chest. I had a big meat chest. It just sounded pretty good. But Lucha got me. I think I got him back later on in a different battle royal. But I kept calling him weak after that. It was funny. One of the most brutal chops that I've seen over my journey. We were in Citronelle, Alabama, wrestling for Bill Moody, who was known as Paul Bearer in the WWE. He used to run shows in Mobile. We were really close, good friends. He was an Alabama fan. I'm an LSU fan. We used to mess with each other all the time, back and forth. I got a lot of stories about him. I miss that man to death. He was one of the biggest ambassadors for the indie scene. There's some good stories, there's some bad stories about him, but he used to run shows. Well, we did a show at a high school, I think it was Citronelle High School, and it was going to be Marcel Pringle against a PE teacher in a tug-of-war. They had a big rope and everything in the ring. They're going to do that during an intermission of one of the segments in the show. They're going to have a tug-of-war against each other. And I was one of Marcel being a heel, being a bad guy. I went out to the ring with him, and it was me and Luke Hawks. I think at the time he was still doing Altar Boy Luke. It was he and I went out to the ring with Marcel. The PE coach was out there by himself, so he said, "You know what? Three of y'all are out here. I got some backup." He introduced his backup. His backup was Bob Holly from WWE. He's from Mobile, Alabama himself. Now, I've always heard stories about Bob Holly about how he's really stiff and he can get out of control stiff. Stiff meaning he lays them in, which I've never minded anybody laying in as long as they don't get mad when I lay it back. But I always heard stories about he likes it rough. He likes to beat the shit out of people. So I'm thinking to myself, here we go. So me being a heel that I am, they get in a ring, they go to do the tug of war. I take Marcel Pringle's end and I tie the rope to the ring post, give him some leverage. So the crowd starts going nuts. Bob Holly is a special guest referee for this. He couldn't do anything at the time because he was wrestling for WB, so he really couldn't wrestle. He couldn't technically have a match. So he sees that I tied the rope to the pole. He jumps out the ring and starts coming towards me, and I'm like, oh, here we go. If he hits me, I swear, I'm going to fight for my life, but he's going to get it right back. But he gets in my face, and I get back in his face, and he just untie it, and we go back and forth a little bit. And I'm waiting for him to smack the shit out of me, and it never happened, which I was glad because, like I said, I was going to put up a fight, and whether I got my ass whipped or not, but I was going to put up a fight. That's with anybody, anything. So I untied it, just I'm playing the bad guy part. He gets in there, and then they start having a tug of war, and towards the end of the tug of war, Marcel lost, but we jumped in the ring and went to go jump the PE teacher. Well, Bob Holly came in. Marcel pulled me out the ring, left Luke Hawks in there by himself. Holly grabbed Luke and put him against the ropes. And when I say he chopped him, Holly chopped Luke, I want to say 10 times in 0.5 seconds. It was just like a machine gun was going off. And them suckers were freaking loud. And he shoots Luke off, picks him up, gives him the Alabama Slammer, which is his finish move. And Luke rolls out the ring into the crowd. And he's in the crowd laying. And he's laying like this. And I said, And I told him, uncover. I want to see it. Let me see it. Well, he's laying like this. And when he did this, I said, boy, you better cover that back up. Purple. It was so purple that it was outlined in black. Bob's handprint. That was some brutal freaking chops. And I was like, boy, why did you stay in there for that long? He goes, that just means I'm going somewhere. I said, shut the fuck up. Picked him up over my shoulder and walked him out. But hey, you got to give it the arm, man. He said, this just means I'm going somewhere. And look what he's doing now. That boy's all over the place. So that's my story for this week. We're about 10 and a half in. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm ready to get out to Metairie and see some of the guys and drink some beer and eat some tacos and some, like I said, stereotypical. It is what it is. It's a Mexican holiday. Viva la raza and whatever LWO used to say. Peace. Like I said, share, like, comment. Y'all have a good night.